Everyone experiences rejections at some point in life, but the good news is a strong bounce back is always possible. I know this because I've faced multiple rejections in life, but I've been able to bounce back from each one without allowing it to keep me down. So in today's video, I want to share with you 5 powerful strategies that have always helped me to bounce back from rejections. Rejection is a fundamental part of the human experience, impacting people across various areas, whether that's your relationships, your career, your creative pursuits, your personal goals, your social circles. This is understandable because evolutionarily, humans have always been social creatures whose survival depended on social inclusion, which could explain why rejection can feel so painful and personal. I could tell you that for free. The first thing to always remember when you're faced with rejection is to feel the feelings and release the feelings. You're probably tempted to just, suppress it, overlook it, and move on. However, it's so important that you feel the emotions, that you allow yourself go through the emotions. You're human. If you suppress it, you are more likely to trap it in, and it then affects your self-esteem without you even knowing. So you want to cry. If you want to cry, allow the tears to flow, write down your feelings. The shadows brought into light disappears. Expose the thought of shame, expose the thought of doubt, speak to someone if you want to that you trust, and share those feelings in a safe space where you can just let it go and not allow it have power over you anymore. So feel the feelings and release it. Let it be, let it go. It's a painful experience, it's an annoying experience, but we don't want to just shove it under the carpet because it can cause problems for us later on. I have experienced 2 sides of the coin where one time I just shut it in, didn't speak about it, just moved on like a pro, but so much for being a pro because it came to bite me back later, compared to when I actually allowed myself to feel the emotions, to speak about my feelings, to write it down and actually recognize that this is how I'm feeling and it's okay. We can feel it for today or tomorrow, but we're gonna move on, aren't we? 2 main scenarios for me come to mind when I think of feeling and releasing the feeling. A few years ago, when I was just about getting into the job market, I was applying for many different roles, but this particular role, I felt like I resonated with it a lot. Actually, not the role, because I don't think I really knew what I was going into, but I just really wanted to get into this industry. I spoke to different people, spoke to people on LinkedIn. Like, I'm that girl that's just gonna message any and everybody on LinkedIn. I need your help, please. And people are always willing to help. So I spoke to a number of people in this company and they were super nice. They gave me so much tips. So I was ready. Got into the interview. The interview was awesome. Like, I loved it. They loved me. I loved them. We were vibing. So here I am thinking, that's it. Like, I have got this job. I am going into this industry finally. So much so, because it wasn't in my city then, I was already looking for accommodations. I remember I was sending a couple of people like, what do you think of this? I hadn't gotten the results yet. So tell me why I was so invested in this thing already. Lo and behold, I opened the feedback and it was an unfortunately. And the reason why it hurt me so much, because it was such a long email that I was like, what is going on? I just started weeping. I was like, oh my goodness, I could have never expected this result. And it hurt so much more because I felt like I was truly qualified for this role. We thank God for feedback, which would be my next point I'll come to shortly. But from the feedback, I was able to move on better. But before even accepting the feedback, I spent a good hour crying. I was like, my life is finished. My life is over. But that wasn't as terrible as the time I got my results from school. I wanted to do medicine initially. I didn't get my grades. I was upset, but I don't think I was like that upset. The one that got me on the floor, I literally rolled down the stairs, was when my dad suggested I did pharmacy. I looked at it. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to apply for pharmacy. And I applied and I got rejected. I said, my life is finished. I said, I have nowhere to go, Lord, take me. Honestly, I was so upset. At myself, at the world. I was just upset. But if I didn't allow myself to feel all of that and I just, kept quiet, just moved on, just, pretended like everything was okay, that would have left a huge scar that I probably would not even realize when it's reflecting in my character. So feel those ugly feelings and release them. Wipe your tears and it's time to move on. Number 2, that always helps me is to seek for feedback. Now, I must say with this point, it's not every situation that you can always seek for feedback. Like if it's a crush that you went to speak to, like, I don't know if you can be asking for feedback. What are you asking for feedback for? Just move on. It doesn't apply to every scenario, but in creative ways, in official ways, try and seek feedback. And why do I say this? I've found that what has helped me move on better is knowing what I maybe could have done better to better position myself for a scenario. And sometimes you actually find that there's nothing more that you could have done. The story I told you regarding this job, the email was so long because they also felt like, oh, this was like a great opportunity. Like we could have hired you, but it involved relocation and they felt like someone that was closer to the office would be better. So I should keep eyes out for future opportunities. After feeling the emotions, after releasing the feelings, when I actually read that email a couple of times, I was like, do you know what? I can't do anything about this. Do you get what I mean? Like I could have spent much longer wallowing in tears if I didn't take on that feedback. And I also asked for more feedback as well. And from the conversation I had with the recruiter, I realized there was actually only so much more I could do because it wasn't exactly about my competence. It was also other factors that they were looking at. So seeking feedback, whether that is, a rejection from a job, from a university or from a course, you don't always have to ask directly. You could also look at it yourself. Like, let's say you didn't get the grades. Obviously, maybe you can do that again and get better grades if that would allow you to reach the mark that is needed. In relationships, it's a bit more tricky, but if you're close enough and open enough with this person, you can always ask for feedback and not just like, give me feedback. You get what I mean? Like, look for ways that can help you to get better. I say this because anytime I get feedback, anytime I grab the feedback, I always aim to grow from the person that was at that point of application, of that point of receiving the rejection. I always want to not be the same person after that rejection. What you don't want to do is leave yourself in the same position of the person that faced that rejection, because what's going to happen is you're setting yourself up for receiving the same rejection again. So I always try and aim to be better, to be a better person. So if that person sees me again, or if that scenario sees me again, it's meeting me a better person, if that makes sense. The third point to remember is to reframe it as redirection. Nobody knows tomorrow. We can't calculate our lives. Yes, it's good to plan. Yes, we try and put some things in place, but it's not always going to go your way. You have to believe and you have to comfort yourself in this could be a redirection, a better redirection for me than what I thought to be better. My faith comforts me in knowing that anything that is not the right time is the wrong time. I trust God, my control tower, that He has my best interest at heart. So I encourage myself in God's word. I found out what He says about me. I have a wonderful future with a happy ending. His plans and thoughts towards me are of good and not of evil, to give me an expected end. He will guide me with His eye on the best path for my life. So I know that His thoughts towards me are good. His plans towards me are excellent. So there is no way that I'm going to go left. So having that deep comfort from something higher than you, something beyond you, because there's only so much control that you can have over yourself. And that is why I always recommend that you have a relationship with God, you have a relationship with Christ. Give it all to Him. He makes the burden much lighter. And more importantly, He can also give you direction for this new season, for this redirection. Ultimately, you want to comfort yourself with knowing that there are many other ways that I could get to my goals. If this way didn't work, we're going to try another way. This is not the only way that can work. You have to convince your mind about that, because if not, your mind is very likely to tell you that it is finished, that there's no other way, there is no other path, there is no other route to get in here. When I got my results and I was rejected from school, I thought my life was over. But then in literally a couple of days or in a few weeks' time, I got a different result. And now, even thinking about it, if I went into medicine, I don't know who I would be or what I'd have become. The path that I've taken so far has truly proven to be the best path for my life. So you have to trust the process. As far as you keep adding value to yourself, as far as you keep putting in your best foot and your best work forward, there is another way for you to reach your end goal. and maybe an even better way. And number 4, that is why it's so important to clarify your vision, clarify your dreams, clarify your goals, and what it is in relation to this. Is it something that this has truly destroyed? Like, the fact that it didn't go this way, the fact that I've been rejected in this way means that this dream, this vision is definitely impossible. Like, it's not going to work for me ever again. The chances are that is not the case. So clarify your vision, go back to the vision board, write the vision down, go back to your goals and say, okay, this is still my goal. So let's say if it was career-wise or if it was school-wise, if you get rejected from something, does this rejection actually completely thwart your goal? Or can you wait a bit and try again? Or can you try a different route? So going back to your goal and reminding yourself, there are many routes for me to get there, but this is the bigger picture. And this bigger picture is still possible. Awareness precedes transformation. When the vision is clear, the results will eventually appear. So you always want to make sure that the vision is clear to you. If it's in a situation, again, rejected from someone you like or from friends that you thought were friends, like, think about what the actual goal for that is. That you just want to be this person's friend, or do you envision a healthy friend group or a healthy relationship? Is this rejection actually contributing to this? If I actually keep knocking on this rejection, how well does it actually contribute to my ultimate painting of where I want to be? Because sometimes, again, the rejection can make it look much bigger than it actually is and derail you from what your goals and actual visions are. So we feel the feelings, we seek feedback, we reframe it as redirection, and we go back to the drawing board and refamiliarize ourselves with our goal and vision. Finally, you want to guard your hearing. You don't want to be surrounded with people or with voices that still beat you down or that endorse the feeling that you're already feeling from rejection. You want to be able to surround yourself with positive stories. As I said in the beginning, many people, if not everybody, face rejections, especially people that have gone down the path of victory. They failed many times. One of my favorite books, the Bible, in Galatians 6:9, talks about not being weary in well-doing, because in due season you shall reap the rewards if you faint not. So refamiliarize yourself with the vision, refamiliarize yourself with your strategies, and keep going, because at the end of the day, the results will appear. You want to surround yourself with positive stories of people that perhaps have failed and got back up, failed and got back up. And you'll be surprised, many people have. Many of the success stories that we hear today, the people that we celebrate, went through many, many setbacks. Part of the journey is embracing setbacks and being able to bounce back from it. James Dyson had 5,126 attempts before getting it right with the Dyson cleaner, but he didn't give up. He kept going. So keep going, keep trying, read stories, listen to things that would empower you and help you to get back on your feet. Ultimately, view rejection from a lens that this is a stepping stone to even greater heights, to a better me, to success. I'd love to hear from you if you've ever faced rejection. What strategies help you every time? What things do you try and remember? Do you try and surround yourself with to be able to get back up on your feet and try again? If you're looking for more videos like this, then do check out this video, which I'm sure would bless you. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.